everybody see my screen? Got it. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to whip through this. Zach gave me some very sage advice to focus on just 3 things, and I've tried to do that assiduously and edit, because I could really talk for a long time about what we're up to here. But first of all, I wanted to make a point that we are no longer driving. So we are cycling towards industry transformation. And that is for my friend Lloyd Alter. I hope you enjoy that little insider joke. Oh boy, I went a couple slides ahead. Oh, sorry, my clicker is not, there we go, finding it. Okay, so I'm going to just go through a little quick overview about NAPHN for those of you new to the community and who may not know who we are. I'm not going to bore you too much there. Then I'm going to jump into the highlights about the conference we've just concluded, and then go to what you really want to know, which is about what we're doing next. So a quick overview of NAPHN. Our mission is really all about industry transformation, and we really are looking towards building that sustainable post-carbon, all renewable energy future, utilizing the International Passive House standard promoted by the Passive House Institute. And our programs are based on training as the foundation core program. We really strongly believe that nothing can happen without good training. Then we obviously put on conferences, and all of you today, well, at least a bunch of you, I hope, were able to attend the conference. We do a lot of advocacy work through resource guides and through our chapters and affiliates. We've been supporting that work for a while now. And we are recently also now a membership organization. So we'll talk a bit more about that. We recently just put together a fantastic value statement, because we are moving towards a bit of an overhaul on our branding and marketing materials. And we wanted to really start with who we are as an organization. So we've come up with these fantastic values that you will see continuously permeating the work that we are doing. And just to really clarify, we are now hosting chapter organizations who are now wholly underneath our fiscal and organizational umbrella. And these are our 5 fabulous chapters we're very proud of, who still maintain their own independent websites and solicit membership through their regional networks. And then we work very well with a bunch of Passive House independent organizations across North America who are our affiliates. And we are really, as I say, the network is part of what we really make sure that we keep building and building those connections. Okay, so on to the highlights. Before I get into the highlights, I want to make sure that everybody knows that if you are and have already registered, you can still go back until the end of the year. All of the programs and the sessions are still online, and you can go back and watch them and re-watch them and screenshot them and record them and do whatever you want with them. And to do that, just so you know, you just need to log into your login, go to the launch, the virtual conference, and then when you get to this window, pick on the days that you want to watch, and then click on the specific sessions. So pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, click, go in and keep watching. And just very special for everybody here on tonight's Accelerator. If you haven't already registered, we're keeping this open until tonight with the code PH2020 HH15. So happy hour, and it's a 15% discounted rate off the conference. So only open until tonight. We have to close the registration tomorrow to be able to wrap everything up financially. Okay, what did I really enjoy from this year's conference? And I have to say there were amazing sessions, and I have to also confess I haven't watched all of them yet. So I too will be logging back in to watch the backlog of sessions that I wasn't able to catch all together. But the ones that I did see, amazing work, really showing that Passive House is no longer niche. With Stephen Winters alone being working on over 9 million square foot of Passive House in North America, tells you that Passive House is no longer a niche market. She also went over some costs that were phenomenal, indicating how Passive House projects range between 1% and 8% above code compliant buildings. And really, there wasn't a huge difference between, where the size of projects in terms of cost. And, just having that data really validates what we've been hearing for many years here in North America. The other session that I thought was phenomenal, and real shout out to the team that put together the asset valuation session. You ladies and John as the thorn amongst the roses really did a fantastic job. The data you're collecting is really really mind-blowing as an asset valuation product and tool for our community. That work you're doing is phenomenal. Thank you. The comment that really stood out for me there was that the certified project that they monitored still performed better than all the other projects that only just used the standard as a target metric. So that was really interesting, really good justification that the cost of certification is worth the price of entry. And then lastly, the roundtable sessions, mind-blowing information from our fantastic set of participants from the Owners Developers Roundtable, really showing and really demonstrating to policymakers particularly that owners and developers are not afraid of going beyond code. They just need to have a clear target. So this is a message I will be taking to them as we move forward with further advocacy. The other sessions that were just mind-blowing, and I'm sure all of you probably have been hearing from everybody a similar response. The sessions from our Chinese friends from PHI on the Chinese developments were phenomenal. If anybody really wants to see where components are heading, the session on the heat pumps from Thomas McKeska was phenomenal. Berthold's presentation on all the components with his team from PHI was amazing. And the video tour of the Passive House Museum was also really fantastic, and shows that, with our Chinese friends in the global Passive House community, we will be able to move mountains quite literally. So the other thing that really stood out from the conference was going back to the original concept of why Passive House was developed. In the COVID context, where fresh air ventilation and dedicated outdoor air systems are now being touted as the solution, going back to the original standard of why Passive House was developed really resonated this year in many of the sessions, where this idea of hygiene ventilation, which is where the standard started, and how all the components actually are designed to work in service of being able to deliver 100% fresh air ventilation, really hit home. And again, given our context in the middle of a pandemic, the idea of having hygiene criteria in all of our components really starts to make a whole lot of sense. but what I'm seeing over and over again is suddenly everybody is now waking up to the importance of this in our building environment. And this session that I was lucky to participate in, where we collaborated with the Reset Air folks, looking at how to really adapt buildings and use Passive House with other standards like Reset Air, was another highlight for me personally. So what's next? Many of you have not seen this yet, because even we at NAPHN are scrambling to still put the final polishing touches on this. It's been a real additional labor of love, but there is another fantastic resource guide coming out this year. All of you who are registered will receive this in the coming weeks. The owner's manual. We developed this in conjunction with the Owners Developers Roundtable to support owners going to Passive House, and include some fantastic contributions from members of our community, Philip Hayes, Zach Semke, Deborah Little, Michael Ingui, all the people you've heard of. They all brought their fantastic knowledge and made contributions to this guide. We've got a smoothing certification tips section, how to really help smooth certification process from a bunch of people from the North American Certified Circle. And then we have a section on monitoring, because this was definitely another section of our conference that we emphasized. Being able to capture the data from your projects is really important for our policy efforts and our advocacy efforts, and helping support you guys on how to do that is part of what we are delivering in this owner's manual. So look for that soon. Obviously, we are still going to be doing a lot on training. We hope to be expanding our training platform. We are fortunate that we had already received a grant from NYSERDA to turn our CPHD training into an online platform. That is rolling out. We've already hosted our first session in that. We have 2 more sessions coming up this year where you can log in and do everything online remotely from the comfort of your living room. And for today, I'm sharing another special code that will give you 100% off registration in these training courses. So online_CPHD, when you log in to do one of these courses, you'll get $100 off, and you should hurry because that's going to expire on August 15th. And we will certainly and have been doing a lot more policy advocacy, really being able to work with policymakers to help them how to use Passive House to drive conventional code adoption and build the market for the industry transformation that is embedded in our mission. We have been looking really closely, quickly, at really how Passive House really doesn't typically align with conventional code, because it's not an incremental increase in efficiency each 3-year cycle like much of the codes are and how they're structured. So it doesn't fit very comfortably within a conventional code framework, but it is being utilized to leapfrog code advancements across the globe. And we really are showing policymakers how to utilize Passive House to transform industry and really support development and the comfort of how industry can go way beyond. So the other thing is, and this was there was no coincidence that we had Dan Heath present this year, because he talked all about upstream interventions, and we know that's exactly what Passive House is, and really laying that out in a development timeline to show that upstream intervention really is the key to delivering high performance buildings and transforming a market. The other thing, we were joking in the prep session yesterday that this is what I've been telling everybody. This is a slide that I've been showing to all sorts of people, CPUC, the CEC here in California, the German American Chamber of Commerce, because we in California know exactly how to deliver these kind of integrated components, as long as they're a phone. And what I've been jumping up and down for and saying, this is what we need for our building industry. We have yet in North America to develop any integrated components that really optimize and utilize the benefit of shared resources. And so this is something that at the NAPHN, we will be really working hard to make sure that we get more HVAC, well-designed HVAC components that utilize the benefit of shared efficiency to leapfrog where we need to go for our industry transformation. So, and then in conjunction with that, the primary energy renewables framework is another area, an aspect of Passive House is still very unexplored and not quite, grasped fully by even people who are already Passive House certified. And this is something we will be developing, we're committed to developing further resources for you guys, looking at what your local primary energy renewables factors are. And we have even been started initiating conversations with local organizations to vet and confirm the PER factors for our North American regions. And lastly, I'm sure I'm already running out of time. How am I doing there, Zach? The other thing that really came out of the conference was this crossover and integration of embodied carbon calculations. Passive House advocates and consultants are already very facile at calculating things because we are data nerds at heart. So we really had a lot of sessions this year really looking at the tools that allow really good embodied and operational carbon emissions to be actually calculated together. And Tim Martell allowed me to share this slide with you. It's a plug-in tool for PHPP that is allows analysts to be able to calculate embodied carbon with operational carbon. And this is the direction that we really want the NAPHN to help steward the integration of these into one tool. And whether that's the pH ribbon tool or any other tools, we will support you all. So share your tools with us. We will help promote and distribute them. And finally, wrapping up here, we are also committed to working much more closely with the North American Certifier Circle, our very own local certifiers here in North America who have been really growing the market with us. We want more projects actually certified because we've seen and we are now able to show the value add for certification. It really does also help with the advocacy efforts. We've seen that with all of our policy work over the last 10 years. And of course, collaborating with our other organizations in the same space. BX is a partner that's been working with us on the education program, the online platform. They have a primer coming up on Wednesday, August 12th. They're also working on this carbon emissions calculator to support New Yorkers who need to comply with that local law 97 which I talked about in the closing plenary, which I think is fantastic. And they are going to have more education tools available on their platform. So check that out, and let's continue working together. So that's it from me. I really look forward to a lot of your questions. There's a ton of work to be done to keep moving and accelerating passive house adoption here in North America. We have some fantastic new programs coming out. I encourage you to join either NAPHN, one of our chapters, or to work with your local affiliates to keep pushing this ball further up the hill. So thank you to the Accelerator host for hosting me. I really appreciate this opportunity and the fantastic work that you guys have been doing and all the promotional work you've done for the conference. We, as I say, I often am heard saying, Passive House is a team sport, and you guys are awesome team players.